What's up guys, it's Average All making average content for the average viewer, and after what seems like an absolute eternity, we have finally had the reveal trailer of Battlefield 2042 Hazard Zone, and to be honest, it's left me feeling a little bit, for lack of a better word, actually disappointed. Now, I want to go in and deep dive into exactly what this game mode is, but I just want to start this video by saying I don't think that this is the game mode that a lot of us were hoping and praying that it would be. Now look, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that I'm no longer excited for Battlefield 2042 as a whole. However, I do think that some of the traction that we had going into this about Hazard Zone itself is now lost, and I just want to talk about that and explain that with you guys. First of all, I just want to explain what Hazard Zone actually is. You can go and watch a trailer for yourself, and there are a number of EA creators who have obviously been told about this beforehand, so they have a better explanation on their channels, people like Jack Frags, that sort of thing. So after this video, by all means go and check out their videos for a better grasp on what this game mode is. But the upshot of it is that basically 8 teams go into one of the 7 all-out warfare maps that we've seen from the multiplayer reveals, and within these maps there will be these sort of satellites that fall to Earth that contain intel. You have to collect this intel with your squad, and then at 2 predetermined points within the match, a random extraction will appear and you'll be able to extract from the Hazard Zone. Now, the caveat is, you're not the only person trying to get to these extractions, and only one squad can use one extraction at a time. So out of the 8 teams within the match, only 2 will be able to extract. Now, each squad will consist of 4 specialists, and you can only have 1 specialist per squad. This means that you'll be able to compose your team and have some sort of synergy. For example, you could have Falcon McKay on your team so that you could keep healing but also have improved mobility, or you could use Casper so you could scout and use the drone to find out where the intel is and see if there's any enemy players around this. Now, as well as the enemy players within these games, there will also be AI soldiers that will be patrolling the map. You can kill these guys and get some points, and you can kill the other people, but the main point of this is you're meant to be collecting the intel and extracting the match. If you don't extract the match, or if you die, then this means that everything that you have gathered throughout the match is now lost. Now, they've also mentioned that on top of this, there is a sort of metagame. Once you're outside of the individual matches, then you'll be able to use all of the intel and stuff that you have earned and convert that into a certain currency, which will help you buy upgrades, guns, attachments, and all that sort of stuff. Look, it's basically trying to be something like Escape from Tarkov or Hunt Showdown, but to be honest, a lot more shallow than both of those games. I want to talk about a few of my main concerns that I have with this game mode. Right off the bat, they said that the final extraction for each match comes in about 12 minutes into the map. That means that the longest a match can last is going to be somewhere between 12 to 15 minutes. It depends how long the actual extraction stays open. It could be as long as 3 minutes, but even then, each match is only 15 minutes. Now, if you're trying to go for this more stealthy, sneaky, raid style game mode, then that's really not enough time to sneak around the map, gather your intel, get into a couple firefights and leave. To me, this seems like this is almost going to be rushed, really quick gameplay that isn't really going to lead to much in-depth fighting or much tactical team play, because at this point, if there's only 15 minutes or 12 minutes to get to the extraction, because bear in mind, if another team gets to that extraction before you, then the game's over, because once they've extracted, you can no longer extract. So that means that you're literally going to have to spawn in and sprint to the objective, get as much intel as you can and sprint out, and I really don't think that this leaves enough room for the sort of stealthy gameplay that they've showcased in this trailer. Now, secondly, we spoke in a video yesterday about whether or not we thought that Hazard Zone could stand up and compete with Warzone. Now, all of this gameplay stuff that I spoke about aside, there was one thing that I mentioned in yesterday's video that I thought was key critical to the success of Hazard Zone, and that was for it to become free to play. This seems like a huge misstep from DICE and EA, in my personal opinion. If we look at the last game that they released with Battlefield 5, with that game came a Battle Royale mode called Firestorm. And by all accounts, Firestorm was actually a pretty sick fucking Battle Royale game mode. It had all of the bells and whistles that you would expect to see from a Battle Royale, but also had things like the helicopters, like tanks, and all sorts of call-ins that you would expect to see from a Battlefield game. The main thing that did not work with this was that it was not free to play. Now, obviously, there were other contributing factors to this as to why Firestorm failed, one of that being that it was delayed until the next year for it to be released. But I really do think that this game, Firestorm, would have absolutely blown the competition out the water at the time if it had gone free to play, because bear in mind, this was pre-Warzone. Now, the problem that we're going to have with Battlefield 2042 is, in my personal opinion, is that this Hazard Zone mode does have some potential for some fun. I mean, this metagame doesn't seem like it's going to have much longevity, to be honest. They are saying stuff like, once you go into the raid with a specific specialist, that specialist, if he or she survives, will then go up a rank, and it'll be like rank 1, and then the next one that it goes into, if it survives that, it will go up to rank 2, and then if you die using that specific specialist, then that will be reset to 0. So obviously there is some sort of tension here, there is some sort of like metagame within the metagame that is supposed to make you hooked to this game mode. But with that being said, I don't think that this game mode is actually going to be Battle Royale enough for the Battle Royale fans to want to join and come over, and I really think it's almost too Battle Royale for the Battlefield community to really sink their teeth into. That means that it's left into this like weird position whereby I'm not sure who this game mode is actually meant to be for. I could understand it if it was on a much bigger scale and almost like a standalone game like we've seen with Warzone. For all its faults, Warzone has done something right with the fact that it is completely standalone from Modern Warfare 2019. Warzone itself is its own entity now and is actually taking over the Call of Duty franchise, which in my eyes is a good business model for Call of Duty as a whole, because it means that they're actually innovating for once. However, I think that Hazard Zone could have done something very similar. Hazard Zone had the potential, realistically, to be its own thing. You could have had actual Hazard Zone content creators that only played Hazard Zone and didn't even care about regular Battlefield. You could have brought in a whole new audience of the people who enjoy Escape from Tarkov and Hunt Showdown and all of these raid style shooters that really aren't that prevalent on console and mainly have a foothold on PC. There is a huge market here that could be exploited when it comes to these sorts of games, and I just feel like they've completely missed the mark here. When this game mode releases, it might turn out to be absolutely phenomenal and I might eat my words, but as it stands, the way that they've made it so convoluted and seemingly like complicated when each map only lasts 15 minutes, I really don't see where this game fits within the Battlefield culture or the community. I'm not sure who in the Battlefield community or outside the Battlefield community is going to want to pick this up and play it. And I definitely can't see anybody who's on the fence about Battlefield now going, "Oh, buddy boy, I'm going to pre-order that shit now," because realistically, it almost feels like an add-on, like an extra, like it's not had much time, thought, or development put into it. I'm sure that there has been a fair bit of time and thought put into it, but not the amount that I think a lot of us were hoping. Now, part of this is our fault. As content creators, as fans of the community, people have been speculating about what Hazard Zone is for a long time, myself included in this. I'm extremely guilty about speculating so much about what Hazard Zone could in fact be. But then on the flip side of that, we haven't heard anything about this. DICE have remained so silent about anything to do with Hazard Zone that, for Christ's sake, I had people in my video yesterday commenting saying that they were listening to leakers who said it was delayed until next year. So can you blame anyone for speculating about what this game could have been? I'm still extremely excited for Battlefield 2042, and I think especially with Battlefield Portal and things like that, this game still has legs and it's still an extremely exciting project that I really can't wait for release for. I think that I'm going to enjoy it more than I've enjoyed Call of Duty the past couple of years, and I'm definitely going to continue to play Battlefield in the meantime whilst we wait for it to come out. I did just want to make this video though, however, just to voice my concern and my discontent, really, my dissatisfaction with what we've seen today from the Hazard Zone reveal. But anyway, that's all I want to talk about today in this video. For those of you who have watched my videos for a while, you'll know that I love to see who sticks around until the end. So if you're still here, I'd like you to let me know by answering this question down in the comments. Are you happy with what you've seen from the Battlefield Hazard Zone reveal trailer? And if not, can you tell me why? Anyway, that's it from me today. I'm Average Joel. Peace.